Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Kim, you want to do the open notice?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by filing a schedule of the Township Committee to the express times and North Star Ledger newspaper, posting a copy on the Township bulletin board, and filing a copy with the Township clerk.
Roll call.
Kenya?
Here.
Dean?
Here.
Spencer?
Here.
Marqueta?
Here.
Horsley?
Here. Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to open up the public comment section of the meeting. The public will be allowed up to 3 minutes at the podium. Just give your name and address when you come up and speak your piece. Motion from anyone? Motion from Will?
Second.
Second, Bill?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in the public wishing to come up, make any comments? KCP&L? Good to see you. All good news, I hope?
Yeah, it's all good.
Rates are going down, huh?
Yeah, well, we'll say that. Stan Prater, Jersey Central Carolina, 111 Kinnaman Avenue, Washington, New Jersey. Just wanted to come in and just say hello to the board. I haven't been out in a while. I've been contact with last year's mayor, Bill. I wanted to introduce myself to Councilman Dean. I think you're one of the new ones on the council committee, so I am your liaison for Jersey Central Carolina. Are you getting any email updates?
I am, yes.
Okay, good. Good. A couple things. One is I want to thank Kim for introducing me to her mother. We're going to be doing a public education and we're doing an electrical safety presentation on the 27th to the senior groups here in the building next door at 1 p.m. So thank you, Kim, and I'll let you know how things go. But we are doing more public education, so if anyone has any group organization, let me know that. And then lastly is that we're doing an orientation for anyone that's interested in becoming a line mechanic. And so lineman work because we have women that work for us with substation and climbing poles as well. That's going to be on the 23rd, a week from today, at Reardon Valley College from 6 to 8 p.m. So if anybody that interested in a career with utility,
What's the age?
come out. Bob, I'm gonna leave you the review.
Okay.
There's a short story about the event, and any questions from the office out here?
Stan, can you email me that, and
Yeah.
I'll post it. I have actually a couple people interested in that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Thanks for everything, Stan.
Thanks, Stan.
We appreciate the updates you give us and showing the interest in the community with us. Okay?
Yeah, there's no problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, motion to close public comment.
Motion. Sorry.
All-
Who made the motion?
Bill, Will.
and-
second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Approval of the minutes from January 17 meeting. Everybody have a chance to read them? Comfortable with the vote here or whatever? Anybody have a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Bill makes the motion. Second? I'll second it. Roll call. Any discussion on them? Roll call.
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Horsley?
Yes. Payment of bills. What we got there?
That, I believe, was in tab 9. If you go to tab 10, it's the last page. Total 2,455,601.60.
You have the money to pay it?
Sure do.
Anybody, you want to make a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion, and then I got a couple questions.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
The 10,000 for the audit, is that the report here?
No,
No?
that's just the interim billing for the actual audit of everything.
Okay. That 10,000, does that include,
No,
This is-
that was separately, and that was taken out of the sewer
Okay.
account.
and when will they come in and make the presentation on the audit? Tonight. All right. Okay, the only other concerns I have are some of our engineering bills, which I think we're gonna discuss later on.
Are we holding anything?
So you wanna
then?
hold it until?
Yeah, I like to hold the engineering.
Until the end of the meeting?
That's...
Anybody have a problem with holding the, payment of bills until later?
Sure, sure.
We have to withdraw that motion, or what?
Is there a
Can you leave it
Yeah, it's a
hanging?
motion.
Can we leave it hanging?
Either, vote on it, vote it down, or you could ask whoever when the person made the motion, rescind the motion.
I'll rescind it.
Okay, so we'll, oh, okay, sorry, just started to see.
Yeah, did anybody second it?
Yes.
Right.
So,
Rescind my second.
Okay.
We're all good? Okay. Anybody have any objection at this point if we do the sewer rate, information so Mr. Schroeder can go and get out of here?
Yeah, just a note on that, two things. So, we asked for, there to be a sewer fund study to see how the whole account is being handled. That's what we're going to talk about now. We also asked Brent to look into discounts that we can apply to the seniors. So, Brent's here, we could do,
Is Brent an executive, is that in? that's-
yeah, that we could do an open.
Okay, so let's do
We'll do
that.
both of those.
As long as, no objections to anybody? Okay, we're on, Bill.
Oh, hey, Mike, I don't have to excuse myself, right? This is public sewer?
This is just accounting, it's not it's just showing the fund, not making any,
Nah, the sewer thing.
yeah, yeah.
Business.
Good evening. My partner, John Mooney, who is your legal partner, apologizes he had a prior engagement that he forgot that he had with his family, so he got stuck with it. The sewer rate study that I did for you, which he issued back in September, it shows 3 different scenarios, keeping the rate the same, going down 5% or going down 10%. And I think one of the questions was what should you do? And the problem is, as I say it, you have about $1,225,000 of fund balance in the sewer utility. At the beginning of the year, you had over $1,400,000. You went down about $216,000 more a year. So you're sitting on that money, but the current year's budget went from your $866,000 budget for expenditures. You only really had $617,000 worth of rents. I'm assuming that's a pretty standard year for you. The 2 years before that were right about $600,000. So if you reduce the rates, you're just speeding up the need for when you are going to have to increase the rates, and probably speeding up the amount of the increase that you're going to have to do. So it's just the poison, I guess it is, and that's why I showed the 3 different scenarios.
Like, so the important point here is that right now the sewer fund is running in a deficit. Our expenditures are more than our collections. Now, we have the surplus that we can tap into to make up to the difference. But eventually, as the years go on, that surplus is going to disappear. But the important point, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're running in a deficit.
Yes, your $216,000 dropped, surplus dropped this year. If you didn't have that fund balance, and you had to raise the rates, you're looking at on a $600,000 worth of revenue, $200,000 short, you're looking at a 20-30% increase. So, yes, you have that money to offset that, and I know people are hurting now, and they think they want to keep the rate as low as possible, but in our opinion, that would be a mistake, because it's just increasing the need going down the line.
Right. So the recommendation is, I believe, was to keep it where it's at, and then
Where it's at for a
Right.
couple of years, the recommendation that, the direction that you gave my partner was that you wanted to maintain about $400,000 worth of fund, of surplus.
I don't think, well, we got to decide that. So the town committee never talked about where we want the minimum of that surplus to be. At some point, we don't want the surplus to go down to zero, right? Because it's there for emergency appropriate, and anything that happens catastrophic to the system, we want the money there. I think we were at 500,000 last time.
Yeah, I thought we were talking like almost 500. But I think catastrophic-wise, Brent, maybe you remember, I think, the engineer told us, even catastrophic, by catastrophic, I mean like the entire thing would just collapse and everything, which is virtually impossible, but it would only be 350, 400,000, I think he said. I mean, anything, that would be a worst-case scenario?
I don't know.
So I think that's why we were saying about 500 in that
Brandon.
capital.
You're asking a lawyer for worst case
Yeah,
scenario,
yeah.
so my worst case scenario would be worse than that, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think,
But I think what he was gonna know is the repair.
To repair or rebuild,
It would be,
our,
Right, it'd be more of a repair to the pump.
Right.
Not to their underground sewage infrastructure.
oh, no, I wasn't talking that.
Right.
He's feeling that the biggest threat of a catastrophic failure would be at the pumping station.
Right.
At the pump, and the concrete building, everything that was in there, which would be an extraordinary event, obviously, would be like $400,000 or $500,000. That's how we came up with, that's what we were suggesting, to keep in the emergency account. the
And
capital account.
this also shows that it's including $50,000 to put into your
back into the,
capital surplus, I'll call it.
right.
Which you want to keep doing just for things like that.
Right.
You did have $300,000 in capital improvement fund at the end of the year for those type of emergencies.
Right.
So maybe you can explain that, Kevin, or somebody can explain that. So part of the plan was to put money back in,
Yes,
so as the surplus goes down, we're building up this other fund, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, I don't know about the pump station, but just you get a pipe that breaks, we're talking a lot of money.
right.
If you have nothing, okay, you're gonna bond for it, but keep socking money away, because that day will come.
Right.
So you might as well have money in savings, so to speak, to take care of it.
Just the rope I went through last year, last 2 years.
Well, and that's going to be my question, is what, the in-the-ground system itself, what's the life expectancy on that thought to be?
Usually it's at least 20 years, but it depends on.
Right.
quality of the-
Sure, right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say you're getting close to that number, right.
I mean, sometimes they say useful life could be up to 40 years, but you've seen those systems that start having line loss around the period.
And we have a lot of sinkholes in this area, Joe, don't we? And I don't know, how does it affect, I know over there on Gary, I think it's Gary, one of those streets over there is constantly, there's a dip in the road. Does that affect the sewer lines at all?
Good if it's above them or underneath them.
Yeah.
We've had problems like that when sinkholes open up under the public water systems too. So none that I know of that have happened since I've worked here that affect.
So, does everybody pay the same rate, the homeowners?
Right now, yeah.
Now, what is that rate? What is it quarterly?
137.50?
How much?
137.50?
Yes,
$137.50.
$550 a year quarterly.
So even at 10% is really $55, you know, or,
Well,
$5-6 a month.
yeah.
no, they weren't looking at any.
We don't need to-
But I know, but even if somebody says, oh, I want a 10, look at a 10% decrease in their rate, I mean, I don't think it's
No,
worth it.
which one of these schedules was the recommended one?
No, we just showed all three scenarios.
Okay, but we were gonna, which one do we want, because I think we should, if we're good with one of them, we have to vote on
It was the Schedule A.
Schedule A. That's the one, Captain, that we're talking about, right? What that does is it replenishes the capital outlay improvement account. It doesn't raise any sewer rates,
Correct, and it's just
slowly drawing from the surplus until then we gotta, I don't know if we have to take action on the minimum surplus amount that we want to keep in there. Okay, but the recommendation is 500, so if when it does hit that, then we gotta make a decision, that's it, but.
Yeah.
So do we need to vote on this plan so you can start putting that money away, or?
I don't think so, because, I mean...
Nothing's gonna change.
Nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
Well, the
Right.
change is that you're gonna be putting the money in that capital outlay improvement, right?
That's every year when you.
Aren't you doing that now?
But you weren't putting these numbers in there. I mean,
I
if it-
did, for 2016, I put 100,000 in, now for 1750, we're gonna do 50,000. So, yeah.
Okay, so you don't need any action on this, we're just gonna go with this plan. So everybody's okay with it?
I'm fine, but the one thing I wanna know is how do we replenish the surplus that was taken out years ago? Has that ever been, we used that a few times, it's a sewer.
Well,
Well, I mean, no,
he's
we don't
talking-
have to increase the rates.
No, what he's
No.
talking about is where the town took the money.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So we need to really consider, I mean, at
Yeah,
one
that-
point, it's gonna get down to the 500,000, and then,
Then you're gonna have to raise the
Correct.
sewer rate, bro.
is that, at that point, do we say,
No, I guess we could
entire town?
tap into this other fund, right?
Do you know, understand, Chris, the town used in the current fund budget money that they brought over, which is a legal, you
Right,
can
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
whether...
Not this body,
morally
just so you
think
know.
we
Yeah, it
should.
wasn't this,
I
We
mean,
didn't
if you
do
want
it.
to budget it, or whatever committee is here wants to budget it down the road to put in there,
Usually that's not triggered until you get into an actual operating deficit,
Yeah.
which is, when you go below 500,000, when you go below zero.
yeah.
That's usually how it's done. I had this situation about 20 years ago.
What's that taking money from the outlay fund?
No, when, I think what you're asking is get payment back from current fund back.
No, what Bill was asking, yeah.
Yeah. So usually that happens when it goes down to zero, not when it goes down to 500,000. However, I had this situation about 20 years ago in Roxbury. The town, the current fund, or the sewer loan, the current, your same situation, we started doing annual appropriations back to pay it. The state was having a fit. They didn't like it, but we ran it through. So
The state wanted you to take it to a zero before you did
no,
it?
the state
Oh.
said there was no provision to pay back, besides it was an operating deficit. And we were like, well, we just treated it as a loan, so we just did it. Every 30 years.
So just to be clear, once the surplus hits the 500,000 mark, can we then take money out of the other account to offset?
Out of capital?
Yeah,
No.
That's
No.
all capital needs.
all right. So we're gonna have to adjust the rate because we don't want to go below
Right,
500,000.
if that's the pleasure of the committee at that time,
Right.
then yes.
Unless that capital, by then, the capital fund would be at what?
Well,
If the capital fund is up to the 500,000, then we're okay, right? Then we could decrease.
Well, we got 300 in the capital already, we just said, right? And if we put that in, we're gonna be up
you're
to how much?
confusing the capital fund and the operating fund balance. The capital is called capital improvement fund.
Right.
That can only be used to pay for the capital expenditure.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So I think when you were talking about the 500,000, I think you were talking about the operating.
No, talking about the surplus.
I thought you said
Oh,
the
okay.
300 in the capital.
Right, but we were targeting that 500,000 as the capital
Oh, the
improvement.
capital improvement.
So, what I'm
You
saying
can
is-
get there if you don't withdraw any.
What I'm saying is we're not, as long as between the two accounts, we have that 500,000, right?
Then you'll be fine.
Then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So if the capital improvement is at 500,000, we can still reduce the surplus to take care of the deficit and the collection.
You can keep going
Yes.
until,
But my point is, we don't want to go below 500,000, but as long as
just as long as you understand the 500,000, if it's sitting in capital, can only be used for capital improvement purposes.
which is the whole point of it anyway,
Okay.
which is what we would want to do.
I think
So-
I think you're 3-4 years away, but if the current scenario holds up, when you get down to the level of the fund balance you want, you got to maintain it, then you're going to have a $200,000 structural deficit. So you have to watch that. So you don't want to have that hit all at once. That you want to raise that. So you might have to start leading in some increases before that.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's why I think somewhere in this report, for historical purposes, because who knows who's going to be sitting up here in 4 years or 5 years from now when we get to that point, that we keep a running tab that, hey, this committee took X amount of money out of this account for the township budget. And I think when we get to that point is when the township committee needs to start paying back. I don't know what that conversation we just had, the state didn't like that, I don't know how we can,
Yeah,
so.
I've been thinking about that. I've been talking to some people that are in the sewer, and they're saying, if you're paying it back, where are you gonna get the money from? You're gonna have to raise taxes, so somewhere in the
But you're
town...
getting it from everybody instead of,
You are, but you're still gonna be
800
raising their taxes to get it back. So, it's a,
I'm
you gotta think
hey,
about,
somebody on septic.
I know, no, it's a good point. I
So, and
think,
everybody benefited from the loan regardless. Right.
So, that's up to you guys, that's just my thought.
It's,
All right,
you know,
so-
let's face it, that loan was a pay me now or pay me later loan. I mean, they should have really raised taxes that year, they raised
Exactly.
it for the money.
They rated it,
So-
yeah.
So, the people with sewer didn't get the tax increase because they rated that fund, so they're gonna pay it later. I mean, so it's, to me, it's the same difference.
Right.
Right.
all right, so, I think we're good then with the way this is. We just gotta make note that we wanna maintain that $500 capital improvement balance. And then we're gonna probably have to address, as we continue our sewer meetings, what we wanna do with the rate maybe next year. Because maybe a slow incremental increase. Okay?
Yeah, 1-2% or something like
Yeah,
that, real
something like
nominal,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't get hit all at once.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
You want Bill to stay while Brad talks in case we get into money figures here or not, or?
Yeah, well, why not? Sure, it shouldn't take long, right? You want to talk? So the other thing that we were looking into was how we can give some relief to the seniors that are in the sewer district and the seniors that are paying into it. And what we found was I don't think there were that many seniors in the sewer district, right?
No, that's right. I think actually, your firm found that maybe there's 8 to 10 seniors that are taking advantage of it, because it's not just being a senior citizen, there's income eligibility requirements that are provided by the statute. The Township Committee in 2012 adopted an ordinance that provides a 10% reduction in the residential sewer fee to senior citizens that meet the income eligibility requirements, which are basically income of $10,000 or less after excluding Social Security and pensions. There's a complicated formula. There's a form, actually, that the township has to be filled out for income qualification. It also applies to disabled persons with disabilities of a certain percentage, all governed by statute. And so that 10% reduction has been in place since ordinance 2012-20. And there was talk in the Township Committee of perhaps increasing that percentage. The state statute that permits this actually allows the Township Committee the discretion to go all the way up to a full abatement. So if you want to increase the percentage from 10% to 25% or some other percentage, that was sort of the thought, to bring it to the Township Committee for their discussion, and if that is a course of action you want to take, then I can prepare an ordinance that would amend the existing ordinance that you can have on for first reading at your next Township Committee meeting.
So, I know Bob and I, being on the sewer subcommittee, were talking about this. And we were thinking, wouldn't be a bad idea to go to maybe a 25% for those seniors. It doesn't really affect much, helps out the seniors in the sewer area. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm at 25% for now, to give them a little bit more help.
Yeah. I'm good with that. It's less than 10 people, 10. Yeah. So, we're good for that.
So do you need a motion or something for that? What do you
What I
need?
would do is, for the, because I didn't know what percentage you wanted to do, I'll just prepare an ordinance and have that on your agenda for first reading for your next meeting.
I'd like to hear from the other 10, other committee people, see where they're at on it.
You're just exposing me to this. I need to process that a little bit.
Okay.
My first initial thought process is, and I don't want to bring dollar and cents in, but if you're in the Chase and the Wyndham Farms, after just reading the article about our average income in this community, I don't know that 25% off of their sewer one way or another is that big of a deal for the seniors, because they're probably already with a respectable income.
No, they have to be
No,
on the
they have
same
to
income
fill
level.
out, they have to meet the income.
Applies to those that are challenged?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, I don't have an issue with that then.
okay.
Yours an income.
Right, okay. I'm trying to read everything as we go here, I missed that part, right?
Sure. By the way, I'm Brent. I'm with the firm of Mersey Falcon. We serve as your sewer counsel.
All right, so if everybody's okay with it, right?
Come back to that,
Yeah.
I would say come back.
Next
You
time.
need a motion, Kim, to have them come back?
I'll make a motion to authorize Brent to change the ordinance to 25% senior discount for qualified residents.
I'll second it. Discussion?
We have one question. What qualifies you as a senior, 62, 65?
65.
65.
Wait a minute. Yeah, 65.
What you,
It's in your existing ordinance right now. I can just read this if you'd like. So the user must meet the eligibility requirements of the pharmaceutical assistance to the aged and disabled program, or if the applicant does not meet the eligibility requirements of the pharmaceutical assistance to the aged and disabled program, must have a total income not in excess of $10,000 during the year preceding the application, exclusive of any one of the following types of benefits. And then talk about Social Security benefits received under the Federal Railroad Retirement Act, other federal pensions, disability, and retirement programs, or pension, disability, or retirement programs of any state or its political subdivisions, agencies, and for persons not covered by the Federal Social Security Act benefit, that would be. Proof of income eligibility is filed with the township clerk by April 20th of that year. There's a specific form that the township has. I actually think it's on the website. And if they meet those requirements, and it seems that about 8 to 10, based on your office's review of this, this is applying to, or at least those are the number of people that are taking advantage of this.
So, based on that, Social Security is excluded.
Correct.
So are state pensions. So
Yes.
somebody retiring, making $120,000 as a state employee, retires at an 80% pension, okay? Do the numbers, they still qualify.
I haven't done that.
It's still, it's for the senior, senior rebate here for our property taxes. It's, that little line there, state pension.
Is that by statute, or is that something that we have control over?
No, this is state statute. You don't have control over this. You have a control over the percentage of discount that you want to apply. There is another ordinance the township adopted in 2015 that basically says, it says that the senior citizen or disabled person that meets these requirements for a tax deduction on their dwelling, maybe that's what you're doing, pursuant to another statute.
But you're using those same guidelines.
They have to fill out the annual post-tax year income statement application, and that's what's being used.
I think when you read that, you said any pension, right? Not just...
No,
If the private industry pension still doesn't count, correct?
no, that, for state property tax, my private pension, which unfortunately I
I
don't
thought he
get.
read or any pension. I thought he read it.
Exclusive of any of the following types: Social Security benefits, benefits under the Federal Railroad Retirement Act, and other federal pensions.
Okay, I think so, the other pension.
No,
Is that,
private pensions are excluded.
is that a combined income? A
But
combined
is there
household
state
income?
pensions in there or not? You said state continue on the state?
Right, or pension, disability, or retirement programs of any state.
Okay,
So that would be state pension.
right, okay.
Is that a household combined income, or is it?
I'm just going off the statute. It's probably covered in the actual form that you had. It's the same income that would be reported on the annual post-tax year income statement that the town has. I don't know if that brings more familiar with that form or not.
Do you want to hold off and get more
Oh,
info?
no, I'm for it, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean,
So there was a
if I
motion.
could exclude that portion, I would. But, and I don't know anybody that's getting a state pension that's, less than 10,000, so.
That's up to the state legislature.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Good luck with that.
Then,
They're coming off of Riviera Road and off of Central. Seniors that live off that.
No, I have a problem with it.
Well,
I just,
all this motion is to authorize them to do the ordinance. By next
Right.
month, if you research it and you're not happy with it,
Right.
And then all that would happen next month is the first reading,
right.
and then you have a public hearing on a second reading before it's adopted.
So can we do a roll call on that motion?
well, was there a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Frank made the motion, Bob seconded. Okay, Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Abstain.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
Yes.
Okay, and then, before I let him go, just an important thing to note here in this whole study on the sewer fund is that it's got to be clear that the sewer utility is running in a deficit right now. You guys can remember, big part of that sewer project that was voted down by the public, big part of that was to take money from the sewer surplus. So, as everybody can see, that would not have been a good thing since we're running in a deficit. So, I wanted to put that out there. So, thank you.
The only thing I'm here for now then is to close that.
Yeah. Does anybody anticipate anything in their reports to take on? Otherwise, we can run through those, then go with the executive? Or should we do you think we want to do, you're only going to be 10 minutes, you said, executive. You want to do a quick 10-minute executive, let him go, and then we'll come back for
That's fine with
the
me.
rest of the
Yeah,
executive?
that's fine.
Is that okay to do? Without, okay. Okay. And we'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation regarding the sewer?
Greenwich versus Stolzer.
I'll make that.
And I'm conflicted.
Okay. Got a motion over here. We have a second?
Second.
Got a second? Discussion? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
Yes. Actually, we could do that, yes, okay, yeah. We didn't need to do
What's he
roll call.
discussing?
There's a litigation between us and Phillipsburg Sewer.
I don't think we need to, we don't need to make a motion. No, we need a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay,
Executive session at 7:53. I would just note for the record that I was not in that executive session.
Will was in
Nor
that.
was Stephen Spencer. No, I assume no official taking copy of those minutes will be available sometime this week when there's no hundred public.
okay. I guess I go first with committee reports.
You got a resolution and tax lien there?
Oh, I missed that, okay.
What tab is that, Kim?
Two.
Two?
Okay, we need a motion to pass resolution 2017-38, where it's basically, we're going to support the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, establishing a mutual alliance in the prevention of alcoholism and drug abuse, right? That's pretty much it. I have a motion to,
Make the motion.
a second?
Second.
Discussion, everyone really have any discussions, questions?
Kim, just change on page 2, your name, second word there. Is name in parentheses? I believe that has to be you. It says I name Township
Oh,
Clerk.
I named.
Okay, unless you change your name to name.
Yeah, I named.
Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
Yes. Okay. Committee reports? That's later, isn't it?
No, that's 27:30.
I only have one resolution on the agenda.
39.
Is that one, what did we do? Oh, we just 38?
For the payment of bills,
Okay,
tax lien.
okay.
I'm trying.
2017-39 is a resolution authorizing the redemption of tax liens as
I missed
listed
that,
on the
yeah.
resolution. I have a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Anybody have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
No, it's
Yes.
only, I
I know
missed
38
the
was on the
resolution on the
agenda.
drug, I didn't see, I saw the tax lien.
It's not listed.
No.
Okay, under reports, I'll make a motion that we accept the police department's monthly report for January.
I'll second it.
Discussion? One thing I'd like to note is the calls are like going up significantly in the last 6 months. I don't know what that's a result of, but last year in February had 450 calls, this year with January of 662, so I don't know if that's a reflection that they're doing more work or we're getting any more calls, but
On this report, the only thing I'd like to see, the show is January 2017, and then we have February 2015. I would like to compare month to month, so if you can add,
you know, yeah, okay. I get
okay,
it.
I'd like to see January 2016 on this.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'll mention it to him.
yeah, he has to change the dates, I mean,
Yeah,
2015.
yeah. Okay,
June 2015. All right?
okay,
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
yes. So next is, are we just reauthorizing it right away that we've done in the past, or is this a new request?
I think it's
or
a
what?
new.
Request.
Listen,
And, we do have a representative from Verizon here too.
Okay,
What time is it?
It's a non-site specific.
tab 7.
Tab 7.
So what resolution number is that, Ken?
is this going to be a resolution eventually? I mean, it's not a resolution tonight, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
You can approve it by and we would just make it 40. And then I would forward it to her. There is a resolution in this packet.
What do we want you to have this, to review it for a month before we do anything?
Well, I have reviewed this because they've got them in pretty much every town, I think. So, basic issue is they need the consent of the municipality to be able to put these nodes up. So, they have to get consent. They've already gotten the approval of whoever the carrier is that has the poles and everything, so they have permission to do that. So the only issue, which I mean, could kill me, but the only issue that's kind of come up and that's stuff kicking around with the league is, can you require them to go to the land use board or to the planning board, because there is a structure, these nodes are a structure on the telephone pole itself. So, the jury's still out on that,
Yeah.
it's to improve communication.
I'd like to get an explanation of what exactly this is. So maybe we can have her do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. My name is Kathy Windsor. I'm
Yeah.
with Technology.
If you want to use the mic again, or if you come on, okay. Okay, good.
We are a subcontractor for Verizon Wireless, and I was going to request basically why we're here, the need for it, and give you a quick overview. Verizon Wireless really prides itself on having excellent customer network for its customers, and I've been working on this project for about almost a year and a half now. And what they realized is that, and this is a statewide initiative, let me state that, we're working with all the municipalities and counties. Verizon Wireless has realized that there are areas within pretty much throughout New Jersey where you have a lot of people. I mean, every day we have, you guys all have cell phones. I have one. We have computers, laptops. Every day people are using the network, and that's really great because we're connected. We do Facebook. Kids play Pokemon Go and all this stuff. You can watch movies and download videos and all this stuff. It's great because it's really it connects us all to each other. But the problem is it puts a drain on the network. So when you have a lot of people using these more higher capacity applications at a given time, it puts what they call a sector exhaust on the network. It basically drains and compromises the network so much that if you go to try to make or receive a phone call, it won't go through because of the strain on the network. Verizon Wireless is this important not just for its customers, but also for the township in terms of, heaven forbid, we never want to think that any kind of natural disaster would occur or anything of that nature. But if something did happen and the residents do need to make calls to 911 or fire, police, whatever, we don't want them to have a problem getting through because of the compromised network. So this is what we're trying to address. Verizon Wireless is proposing to utilize what are called small network nodes. They are small pieces of equipment. You should have photos in the package. And they go on utility poles in the
Have some.
and they're comprised of an antenna that's 2 to 3 feet long and a radio which is about 20 to 55 inches long. And it's all on the utility pole.
Now, is that going to have a separate, I'm looking at this one picture, it looks like it has an electric meter. Will it have an electric meter?
I'm not sure. It would depend on the pole. I know we have to apply for our building permits, electrical permits. So I know if there is electricity going to it, as to every single pole. I'm not absolutely.
How many poles in the town do you anticipate having?
Good question. So Verizon Wireless's RF engineers, radio frequency engineers, are still trying to view basically all the data. So what they do is they have a whole bunch of internal data that they get, and they also get customer complaints because the township residents have issues, and only they call Verizon to complain, right? So they're reviewing all this data. They're still trying to determine the specific locations. I've been told that it would be 5 or less of the entire township. So you're not looking at a large amount. And this would be only where the sector exhaust is occurring, so where it's really critically needed. We're not looking to just put these up there. It's very targeted solutions to address this sector exhaust, basically. So it's really a two-step process, if you will. What I'm here for tonight is a general consent to operate on the right-of-way. The resolution, if you sign it tonight, it does not allow us to go build anything. It does not allow us to go construct anything at all. It's just a right to continue on working with the RF engineers to determine the specific locations in the township where this is needed. Once we have that, and we have a specific location from Verizon, we go your bidding department, we work very closely with folks there. We have specific plans, we apply for our permits, pay for any fees, provide certificates of insurance, etc. And from that point on, it's a very site-specific application from that point on. So basically, the township has full discretion at that point to, if there's a location that Verizon Wireless is looking at that's not good for the township, then we work with you. Your building department may say, well, this area is not going to work, but where can we make it work? So we very much want to work with the township in this regard. Like I said, the resolution does not allow us to go build or construct anything.
Would it be appropriate to do an ordinance saying how many we want allowed in the town? Where do we want them allowed? Because Verizon's just one carrier. What happens when another carrier comes?
Well,
And another carrier
they would
comes?
have to come to you for consent. So first of all, they have to get permission from whoever owns those, the telephone poles that are there now, I don't know who owns them.
But I'm saying, maybe can we look
No,
into putting
I know,
guidelines?
and what I think
Yeah.
you should do is, because that's not how I understood it, which, you know a lot more about this than I do, and there's no question that there's capacity issues with wireless. But I think if you limited, if you're inclined to make a motion to say, well, we consent to allow them to go ahead and do their RF study, then they would have to come back, though, and show us whatever plan, where they plan to put them, because I think that's the fear that towns have is, they have their box that they put on the telephone. When I think of those, I think it's the size of a baseball or some type of antenna, but they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I could see.
And, are they gonna, I think, at your word, that there's only gonna be something, maybe 5 in town, but who knows? I mean, if you just give...
That's why I'm
consent,
thinking-
I think if you're gonna be telephone poles...
I'm thinking like what you said, is the planning board should look into this and maybe even some kind of zoning ordinance on this.
Well, what I would say is, if we tailor the resolution so that all you're saying is, we don't have a problem with the concept, so that they can go ahead and put in there that they have to go to the building department, because in order to get a building permit, they have to get a zoning permit first. So if the zoning officer says, oh, wait a minute, that's a structure under our ordinance, they're going to the land use board, or, they would make that call anyway on any type of structure as to whether or not they have to file an application with the land use board. So I think we can tailor the resolution in such a way that all you're saying is, listen, we understand that you're going to increase capacity for our citizens, that's a good thing, but you're going to have to go to the zoning officer, get a zoning permit, you have to go to the building department, et cetera, and that way, they go through a normal course, just like a...
Question.
It's already in the resolution, we go through, apply for any requisite permits, we can find...
Yeah, but my question isn't that. My question is, do we have a zoning, is this covered anywhere in our zoning?
I don't know. Obviously, I...
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I think we should have this covered somewhere. That's what I'm
Whether or
hearing.
not this would be considered a structure, we probably have to look at the definition of what a structure is, and the definition of what would require an application to be filed. So, I think it's, to be honest with you, I can't say it's definitely covered or it's definitely not covered. It may be covered now, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't even have my...
Well, how about if we direct the attorney to draft a resolution in conference with Jonathan Drill from the Land Use Board to make sure we're all in conformity
A
there.
more general idea on that, too?
It's not permitted, it's prohibited, so they
Right.
have to go to the zoning board anyway. So if what they're planning to do is not permitted, then it's considered...
Yeah, but like this, to me, this seems like something new. Like, we don't have anywhere where it says how many we would allow in the township. We don't, that's not written in.
we're fine with that.
Well, I don't know, that's what I'm saying, I don't
He's
know
not
that.
talking about just you.
I'm not
He's
talking about just you,
next month,
I don't
do we
even
have
know that
another
answer.
opportunity?
I don't know what that
Yeah,
answer
does
is.
T-Mobile show up and want to put it on another
Yeah,
five?
then, once we
right,
grant it to them, we can't say no to anybody else. I mean, it's, to me, it's not treating them equally. So, what I'm saying is, I'd like our planning board to maybe look at this and make a recommendation. Let's get,
Yeah, I mean, I could call Jonathan Drill and just say, hey, this is the,
What other towns have you put these devices in?
Installations or gotten consent about this?
Installations
Both.
and consent, so maybe we can...
That's,
you got consent Oxford last night.
yeah, consent Oxford, White Township, we have applications throughout Warren County, Hunterdon, the surrounding municipalities. We've received a number of consents from them. In terms of installations, they've been so far mainly in northern New Jersey. That's where the project started, just initially, so that's why we progressed more that way.
So the argument I think we're going to get from our residents, if they have a telephone pole in front of their house, not in my backyard, what do they call that, NIMBY? Because you're talking wireless, you're talking...
and then may irradiate some...
Who knows what,
waves, I don't know.
all this stuff that's wireless today, we won't know until we're all dead. 100 years from now, we'll
That's
figure it
why
out.
I'm saying I'd like to look into it further.
What's that, Mike?
I read reports that...
A lot of the radiation and that's all preempted by federal law, so you really can't, I mean, there are RF engineers that's going to say
Well,
it's fine, and it's...
yeah. Oh, I know they're gonna say
But
it's
it
fine.
doesn't change the fact that there's apparatus that they put on the telephone.
Well, you
Now,
got
just like
55
we-
inches, which is over 4 feet, and then you got another 2 to 3 feet, so you got a 6-foot structure.
No,
And then you might have,
It's broken up, just so you're very...
okay,
It's broken up.
and then you might have a meter. I mean, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, this
here.
white thing is on the top, yeah.
Yeah, but you got a meter on the
No,
bottom.
I do see that,
It's
right.
going to be on the pole because what
So-
CNG says.
Now, another carrier comes in, they want to use that same pole, because I've seen this. Would they double up on that pole? How would that work?
Well, that's why I'm thinking this is, could be argued that it's akin to co-locating, right? Somebody else going to put another tower, antenna on the cell tower. A lot of times you gotta go in front of the board to get that, depending on, so, but if somebody else came in, they'd have to get permission from the owner of the poles first, which maybe they do, maybe they don't, and who knows what that, I think.
Then you're talking possible litigation, because you're allowing them, and what are you gonna do? You're gonna say no to, I don't know, T-Mobile or somebody who wants to put it on the same pole? What are you gonna do?
I think at the end of the day, if they, because quite frankly, if it wasn't for the BPU requiring them to come in and get our consent, they would just go to the zoning officer and say, can I get a zoning permit, we're gonna build this, this, and this. And then the zoning officer would either deny the permit or grant the permit, and then they would be able to get their building permit.
Well, how about we do this? We ask the attorney to draft the resolution based on his conversations with Jonathan Drill. Come back next month, give us a report on it, and then we decide yea or nay. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, I'd be interested for John Drill's opinion on the
Yeah.
subject matter.
Okay, so
Uh,
next month,
is
we
this
can come in
something-
with a resolution and an explanation.
Okay.
Or no resolution and an explanation.
No, but just-
Or just an explanation.
But John Joe's gonna talk about legalities. Is this something that we want the planning board to look at, whether or not it's desirable?
But I think you're right, but at the end of the day, here's what it comes down to. If you want to build something in your backyard, and you go to the zoning officer, and the zoning officer says, yeah, that's permitted, you don't need any approvals, here's your permit, here's your building permit, you're good. If they go in and do the same thing, and the zoning officer says, oh, yeah, that's permitted, then they're good. I mean, if John says, well, I think they might have to come here, I mean, maybe he has to come to the zoning officer, but I guess my point is, I think we're covered. Because if these are not permitted, then of course they have to go to the board because it's not permitted. And if it is, if in the zoning officer's opinion he was something that's covered, he would just issue the zoning permit, they would have to go the usual route, get the building permit, or the zoning officer says, nope, you gotta go to the land use board. But what, I can head this off,
All right.
talk to John, get the resolution drafted for next month.
Okay.
So,
I understand where the committee's going, so.
Mike, it says here, under federal laws, Section 253 of the Federal Telecommunications Act, 47, 253, we may not withhold approval, but we may impose reasonable conditions such as requiring insurance, repair of any damage, etc. So,
That's in the resolution issue, right?
right.
Well, that's similar to cell towers too, but it's, when you come in for an application to build one, you should have pre-approved it, right? So, I mean, it's tough to deny them if they show that, yeah, there's a need in this area, but they still have to prove that there's a need there and that they're covering an underserved area, and that's, I'm not saying you have to do the same thing, just by illustration, even though, look, I represent a lot of language, there's not a lot of, but they still have to put the proof. So,
Okay.
Okay, thanks for everything, okay? So we're good, we don't need any action, you're just gonna come back next month to report, right, Mike? I found the resolution 38 is, it's next on my agenda, but anyway, we already did that. Budget meeting, Anthony, I think what we were waiting for is to see when you'd be ready to go for the next time, right?
Yeah, let me pull up my calendar.
Open the calendar.
I'm gonna get everything, done this weekend with a prep of everything and send it to the auditors, so, let's say the 16th. Do you wanna schedule a budget meeting like the week of the 27th one night, or a weekend, whatever?
27th is a Monday.
I got an OS committee on the Monday.
We're going to say on the 20th,
We're-
right?
We in March or February?
27th.
February 27th, right?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, at 7?
We moved it, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one. Thank God I said that.
So February 27th is not good for you, correct?
28th's no good either.
March 1st is no good for me, which is that Wednesday.
I'm okay that weekend, of 25th.
My birthday.
Oh, all right. I'm good, the rest of that week. I'm good Wednesday through Friday.
Me too.
No good Wednesday.
Friday.
Thursday, March 2nd?
How about that Saturday? I know everybody, I don't mind Saturdays. Though early we're done.
Saturday the 4th.
Are you available, Kathleen?
Oh, that was
What do
good.
you, what do you have, 2 birthdays?
No, it's my birthday weekend.
Were you going somewhere?
I thought you just said the week before was your birthday.
No, I just said March 3rd.
I think you said the 25th was your
That's what I
birthday.
thought he said.
No.
Oh, all right. So, all right.
25th is really not good for me, I don't think. I'm used to getting back from Florida.
All right, so we're looking at March.
Late or something.
28th is no good? February 28th?
I'm good March 2nd, oh, we're back in February? 28th is fine with me.
That's a Tuesday, 28th?
No, it's not good for me.
Okay. So
I could do Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday that week.
March
Can't do
1st, somebody
Wednesday.
said no good. March 2nd is good for me.
Good for me. Paul, good for you,
I'm good.
March 2nd?
Yep, should be.
Yeah.
Kathleen, the 2nd good for you?
All right.
March 2nd at,
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
So, is that your motion, Bob?
You gotta make the motion that we have a budget meeting on March 2nd at 7
I'll
o'clock.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One thing I want to say before I give up the rest of it. Joe Mexi reported to me, and I rode by, the lights look great. We have
Absolutely.
lights on Dumont Drive after 7 months.
Is that right? I might drive up there later, really.
And I'll tell you,
How long have you been up, Joe?
Working, well, we had a little glitch over the weekend, but the eye went out, but we turned them on for a last Friday.
How many of
Every other one.
Every other one?
LED lit.
and they're so bright, they
Yeah.
cross one another anyway.
how about
We
that?
get any faster, I might decide we're gonna put in trains. We're gonna put trains on.
Good job, Joe.
So, Joe, now we gotta figure out what kind of reduction we're gonna get from JCP&L. Darn it, he was here too. Because we're going from whatever those vapor lights were down to LED.
Okay, I'm done, Frank, you're up.
Also,
All right.
we had no bells.
Yeah.
Don't tell Kathleen.
Trains are coming.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real quick, we already went over the sewage fund, so, Thomas Stewart Park, we've had, a couple of, open space meetings. I want to thank Will for showing up at the last one. Bill couldn't make it, usually shows up. Anyway, what I had, what the open space committee had done in our last meeting was, we started comparing our estimates to actuals. And if you see that spreadsheet I gave, everybody should have a copy of it. You'll see that some of the estimates were low. We're over in some of them. Some things happened where we had off-site improvements imposed on us by the county that we didn't include in the original estimates. We didn't know that the county was going to do that. The earthwork estimate was off by a significant amount. The bids came in a lot higher than they were. So, as of now, our estimate compared to Phase 1 of the project, Phase 1 has been over. So, here's where we're at. Phase 1 is currently ahead of schedule, right, Mike? Good progress on that?
Yeah, way ahead.
As everybody could see, we've had decent enough weather where we could do a lot of work there. We're going to have to make a decision whether or not we're okay with Mike going forward to prepare the estimates for Phase 2. Once the estimates for Phase 2, once Mike prepares that, our plan is to send it out for bid, get actual numbers. Once we get the actual numbers, then this town committee is going to have to make a decision on how much we're willing to spend on the park. Okay? So, that's where we're at. You can look at the numbers here, on the estimates. I'm gonna ask for the town committee, I don't know if you wanted to do this after our executive, Bill, or not, but I'm gonna ask the town committee to, I think we'll do it after executive, but, approve Mike moving forward with putting the plans together for Phase 2. Like I said, once that's done, we get real numbers, and then we can come back to the town committee, and we can decide whether or not those numbers are acceptable, if we want to go to a Phase 3 or a Phase 4, or if we don't want to go anywhere else, we want to do some major cutting, so. But we can't make any of those determinations until we have real numbers. So, that's where we're at. Yeah, Mike, feel free.
Especially for well, Paul, Bill, and Bob, who didn't have the benefit of being at the last open space meeting. The way the bid would be prepared would be that we would introduce a number of what we call alternate bid items. The pavilion would be an alternate bid item. The concession stand would be an alternate bid item. And there's a lot of them. Therefore, you get a real number, which is really the main point here, is to see how much how much do we have left to spend to build the park the way all the plans have shown it to date, you know, the way I think everybody has imagined it to date. But by putting a bid out that way, you've got the ability to, like, just throw out items, like, you know, okay, we're not gonna spend $75,000 on a pavilion, so that's out. We're not, you know, right now, phase 2. And then you could potentially whittle it down so that it's within whatever budget you know, everybody's comfortable with.
No.
So, that's an important part of what would be the phase 2 bid.
Exactly. Brad, anything I missed?
Nothing coming up.
Okay.
So, we're over $173,310. So when you're talking about in phase 2 going out
I don't
for
see, Mike, in this, do you have a copy of the spreadsheet, Mike?
Yeah. You're talking the highlighted one?
Yeah.
I mean, it was there when I got it.
Was the, I don't see, where's the engineering on this?
It's not on there.
It's more than that.
Okay. So my point is, you mentioned in phase 2, you're gonna go after real numbers. Okay. So what numbers were used in phase 1? Fake numbers? Like the fake news that some people call for out there?
They were estimates based on the professionals, that's what I can tell you.
Most of the numbers, Bill, were my estimates based upon industry standard unit costs for various items. I mean, you know, I could show you where, you know, I didn't just...
Pull it out of the...
Yeah, right, exactly. It wasn't guesswork.
Right.
There's a lot of information and various facilities and groups that you can get. What do you normally pay for a cubic yard of fill, a cubic yard of cut, a strip an acre of topsoil? And in some cases, you can see, and Frank Pinto actually put this together when we were at our last meeting. In some of the items, I was a little over. In some of the items, I was like maybe a lot under. The bottom line is that, you know, we were... All right, okay. This is confusing. I'll tell you why it's confusing. What this estimate and this spreadsheet was based upon the whole job. Which is going to make it sound worse, actually, when I'm finished here. What we realized back in 2016 was that we would not have had enough money to bid out the whole project, so that's when we phased it. And phase 1 and phase 2. So there's a bunch of these items that are in this estimate that were part of the whole project that have now been split and separated and whatnot. And you can kind of see what the yellow items, the highlighted items, were the items that were part of what ended up being the phase 1 bid. So that's, hopefully that's not more confusing, but that's part of what happened.
So, your town committee approved just under $1 million, I think, right?
961,
Yeah.
according to this, 961,728.
And that money was accounted for, we had that money for this estimated budget, right?
We had to phase it in.
You had it phased in, but that was accounted for.
It was
right?
accounted for
Yes,
the
right.
years of the project,
Yes.
yeah. So, the important point here is that we're not over the approved dollar amount right now, but to get the park as to what we originally designed, it's gonna go over the approved dollar amount. So we're gonna have to make some tough choices as a town committee.
Well, right now, we have 400,000 to spend, according to, we spent 559.
No, we're missing the engineering, right? It's not in here.
Okay, well, the engineering's included in the 961, but, you know, that's...
It's in the 961, but not in the total dollars here.
So somewhere in the $300,000 range, I'm assuming we will have.
The analysis that I gave you, Frank, I think we came up with, if it came, phase two came in at the estimated amount, which was 480?
No, I think 660.
Oh, that you're right,
Yeah,
6 something.
yeah, 680 maybe. Yeah.
And with what we all know right now, and if it came in at that, we would be at the end of 17, about 88,000 in the red.
You're talking about the open space account.
Yes.
But how much over the original estimate would we be?
That I'm looking at the whole.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the estimate versed on the expenditure.
If it's phase two, you're gonna be over 200,000.
That's what I'm saying. So we're not gonna really know until we get these real numbers.
Right,
I don't wanna do it like we did last time. I'm gonna try to get real numbers.
Right.
And then we're gonna have to decide, you know?
It's gonna be 1.5.
Well, then, we go to phase three, for some of the stuff.
It's still gonna be a cost. It's
Well,
still gonna be an
fine, you know,
overall project
And it's
cost.
not, you know, if phase three might be in 2018, where we can tap the open space fund, it's not gonna affect the tax rate in the town, so I
Well,
don't have a problem with phase three.
I just wanna make that clear, because that's a good point. So this project does not affect our general fund taxing.
Right.
That was the whole reason this project went ahead. So regardless on how we decide to move forward on this, it will not affect our general tax collection. It's always going to be dependent on the open space tax collection, which will not change. So,
Unless somebody wants to bond,
no, it still could come out of the
that
open
is true,
space.
if you can come out of it,
Yeah.
open space.
So that's another...
That's an option.
That's another option. So,
You think that's
anyway, there's a lot of things that we have to... We're going to have to make some tough choices here, so there's a lot of things we got to do, but I think it's only prudent on our part to get real numbers now and make some real choices. So my recommendation is to have Mike go ahead and put together the bid specs for this phase two, and let's get some real numbers, and then we could, as a town committee, decide, you know, what's good, what's okay, and what's not okay.
And besides the park numbers, what are open space, have we already committed the money from that to the Dow project?
That's set aside.
That is, okay, but what about the new one that's being discussed, behind the way station on I-78?
Well, I don't think we can talk about that here, just contract negotiations, but we can,
Okay.
I can talk to you off.
Mike, how long will it take you to come up with these plans?
Not very long.
Okay. So maybe the March meeting, we can,
Well, actually, we talked about this at the open space meeting and talked about the timing, assuming that the full committee, you gentlemen, would authorize this tonight. And the way it played out was that we would, and that's why there's that's why the open space meeting is scheduled for the 27th. So that, on the 27th, I present all the open space committees, all the open space committee members with a phase two set of plans and a phase two spec to review. At that point, you've already given me and the project the go-ahead to go out to bid. We put it out to bid the next day, basically. It should really be out to bid at least 3 weeks or so, get some decent prices. It's not gonna be, it wouldn't give us enough time to potentially, God willing, to award a contract if we're so fortunate at the March committee meeting. So we were looking at, and again, everything goes about as good as it's possible. We would probably have to have a special township committee meeting at the end of March. But basically, it keeps us on schedule with the weather as well.
right.
So what action are we looking for tonight? You're gonna make a motion?
We're
to
gonna
what?
make a motion to have Mike go ahead and prepare the bid specs, right, Mike?
You ready to make that motion?
I'm ready to make that motion. I don't know if Bill wanted to have an executive first or not.
No, I'm fine with it. So I'll second that motion.
Oh,
That was your motion.
Anybody have anything?
Okay.
Any discussions?
One other thing,
Discussed
Mike,
before.
ideally, when is the best time, ideal time that phase two should start? To keep this
Phase
project,
two should start. Right after
phase one is completed, but,
it finishes the seeding and so forth. Right now, and again, you know,
Mother Nature's
The big
been on
guy
our
has,
side.
has been shining down on us nicely with the weather, boy. I would have never, ever bet we would be at this point and still be working in mid-February. He's looking to seed in mid-April or so. He'll be done with everything else by then and basically seed, maybe have the stone in the parking lot probably also be one of the later things he's done. So have this project start in May, beginning of May, which works out fine if we're potentially going to be able to award a contract for phase 2, what would be the very end of March or sometime beginning of April. It actually plays out perfect, schedule-wise. He's done, new guy comes in and does his stuff.
So, Mike, when we get the real numbers back, you think it would be a good idea to have a joint OS and
Well, that
town
was my
committee
next
meeting to go over? Because town committee's going to hear from the open space committee, you know, why they think this is necessary or not necessary. Because we have all these ad alternates. Somebody, you know, the committee may want to cut some, and the OS committee may say, well, that's not a good idea. Probably need to hear that.
Again, the way it appears to be playing out, we have our regular March committee meeting. But which, of course, the meeting you're referring to, Frank, has to happen after the bid.
After that. So we're talking April.
No,
No,
I would say that the last week of
16th.
March. We could,
The 16th of March
schedule a
is
special
the
committee
regular.
meeting.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
So
joint
joint
meeting,
meeting,
okay.
the open space committee.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem.
So you can have it the 30th of March, which is...
So,
Is that something we have to
No, we don't do
schedule
that
now?
now.
you don't have to, we have to remember to do it.
We gotta remember to do it.
Special meeting.
Yeah, 'cause I- yeah.
Special meeting, let's say maybe March,
I'd do it March 30th. That gives them almost 4 weeks if you go out to bid.
yeah, March, the meeting would be, yeah, maybe you want to say the 28th, 29th? So the middle of the last week of the month, of March, as the joint meeting, I don't know.
All right.
Well, you're gonna have to contact them, see if it's good for them and everything, so.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
gonna have
make
to
that-
let them know. But
you
do we
have
want to
a
pick a
meeting on
date? You want me to go out and then,
Or the 20th.
why don't we just do that? Why don't we just pick a date now?
So
Then
you
I'll
said the
ask
30th.
tentatively.
Well, I said the 30th
Well,
would be
you're
a
not gonna go
Thursday,
further up
but...
until you have the open space.
All right, so you want me to go and ask the open space committee for the 30th? We'll see if they're okay?
Yeah, because the bid opening wasn't going to be able to be till the prior week, which was the week of March 20th. Again, schedule plays out the way we kind of orchestrated it. The bid opening would be the week of March 20th, so that would be good for time for our office, of course, Mike, and disseminate the information to everybody else, so that when we have the joint meeting, everybody's got all the stuff in its hat in a few days to digest. So, yeah, last week of March works perfect.
All right, so I'm gonna go out and ask them March 30th. Okay, so we got the motion still out.
Roll call on the motion?
Yes. Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Approve March 30th
Yes.
meeting? No.
Heather?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, we can't do it until, he checks it open space, so.
Just mark your calendar as tentative.
If we make,
Oh, okay.
so we can set it firm on the
Okay.
16th, that's
That's
plenty of
true.
time for you to
Plenty of
do
time,
it,
yes.
isn't it, right?
7 o'clock, right?
Well, I have 48 hours.
Okay, Will, you're up.
March 30th, 7 p.m. Tentative.
All right, animal control did 44 licenses for, January,
How much?
44.
44?
So licenses for this year so far is 44, right? Or was it the
That's not the January.
3 January?
February right
just
now,
threw
we're
everything in
over 100. I think it's 102.
So it was,
So
yeah.
that's 69. We've done 500 and what? Just
All right.
Let's go.
DPW.
Do you have any call-outs or anything for the month? I mean,
Not that I have here.
she didn't have any, or she didn't report it?
None.
Just make sure she includes that on in her report.
I don't have it here in my report. I'm looking at it. DPW, couple quick things. You said the lights are back on over there. The, storage building for the fire, from the fire, Joe's gonna work on with the guy who's gonna do the firehouse. Try to coordinate to get some quotes with for the building back there, right, Joe?
Yes.
So it has some numbers come up for that. Dumont streetlights back on. Generator's 85% complete. And he did numerous repairs, from there. Biggest thing is the Mason dump, went down during the last storm. fluid transmission. It's a 1997 Mason dump. It's on the list to be replaced. Transmission's up $4,000, and from talking with Joe, it's not worth replacing the transmission because you're not going to get that for the auction, for the truck. So he's down a truck right now.
Yeah, I don't see replacing them.
It's not,
ridiculous.
what's that?
It's ridiculous to even attempt to fix that.
No, yeah, for $4,000, you'll get less than $1,000 at the auction.
20 years old, too.
Yeah.
Like 1997.
It's falling
Yeah.
apart. So, motion for the DPW report.
I'll second that.
Discussion, roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion for the fire department 2016 annual report.
I'll second it. Discussion, any questions on that report? Thanks for all you guys do.
Absolutely.
Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
And Horst?
Yes.
And we have some membership applications for firefighter James Race Jr. Yeah, and auxiliary member Vienna Vieira. Okay. I can do the permits together, right? Red light permit for Joe Mexi the fourth, and the blue light permit for Kevin Young, Ryan DeMont, and James Race Jr. Make a motion to accept them. Make a motion to accept them for fire company.
I'll make the motion to accept them.
Second?
Yeah.
Discussion? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Horst?
Yes.
And the last thing I have is speak with Joe and also with Mike Lavery. Mike's going to be looking into a resolution, right? Or
Yeah, I just want to check, I didn't bring my iPad with me, I just want to check and see if you have a provision in your ordinance that allows you to waive them. If you don't, then you'd have to do an ordinance if you're maybe so inclined that just says that, you know, for nonprofit, you know, rescue squad, volunteer fire company, you can leave it.
I'm good with
yeah.
that.
And that way Joe can send it down to the state, so the state can waive their fees for all that.
Yeah.
So Mike's going to be looking into that for next meeting.
Okay.
And that's it. Anything else, Joe?
Thanks, Bill. Bill?
I need a motion to accept the tax collector report. It's a couple of pages. First page is the January revenue. Kathleen, Bonnie told me she sent this to you when you were good with these numbers. And then the following pages are just the list of the deposits, and you're happy with that? You wish there were more. So do we. So, I'll make that motion to accept the tax collector's report.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Horst?
Yes.
108 Washington Street. There's actually two issues here. And I don't know, did we discuss the tree that Gordon wanted us to cut down at the last meeting?
Part of the email that we sent to Attorney Baker.
And did you,
Yeah, and I responded and said, you can't cut a tree down on private property. Now, what I did suggest is, I don't know, you know, because last year was my first year, how often you do these tax foreclosures, but with the tax liens on that property for some time, I
Right.
contacted the bank last year, because we wanted the bank to fix it up, and I think it was Affinity Federal Credit Union, but they said, we've abandoned the property, you know, we don't.
It's the house next to Gordon?
yes.
Yeah,
To the right of Gordon.
Yeah,
the
on
left.
the phone
If
down.
you're facing his house, it's to the left. Between,
So he can't give a citizen permission to go on somebody else's property to cut trees, and that's the problem. So if he goes over there and cuts it down, and over here, you know, I'm your attorney, so.
Right.
That's your question, I gotta tell you, we can't give permission. Now, the one thing I would say is, I don't know the last time we did a tax foreclosure, but usually when you have a bunch of these properties, there's some of value, they're not paying their taxes. If you get at least 15 of them, and you have somewhere it makes it worthwhile, you could do a tax foreclosure, get title to the properties and then sell them. So what that does for you is, number one, it gets it back on the tax rolls because you can sell them. Number two, it reduces your reserve fund collecting taxes, because as long as you're carrying properties, and I don't know what you're carrying, but I don't know when the last time you had a tax foreclosure, but, well,
And how many, do we know how many properties we're carrying?
None.
We are not carrying any.
Any, just the one?
Because we have,
All right.
initially-
well, I'll just tell you that you're not carrying any properties, but you're carrying properties with tax sales, you have tax liens, so you're not getting any money from those. And like I said, what happens is your reserve fund collecting taxes, part of budgeting, because you're not collecting money from them, that is more money that you have to raise to cover that. So,
Basically, you want to get them back on the tax rolls.
yeah, and if you do more than 15 or 20, it becomes unwieldy. And it usually costs about, a high estimate would be $2,500 per property, because you have that includes the title search, suit, final judgment, everything. So you do 10 properties, you're talking about max of $25,000. Like I said, you wouldn't want to go over 20, because then it gets unmanageable, because sometimes people will come in and pay when they see the foreclosure, or somebody else does, but, I mean, it's something I would take a look at. If you have a bunch of odd lots that, if there's that much tax revenue there anyway, it may not be worth it, but if you had some properties that you thought had some value to them, and, carrying them every year, it might be something to look at and say, hey, maybe we'll do 10 of these, or we'll do the 5 worst offenders, or whatever it may be. But on this Mary Smith property, that's a good example of,
This property is
I mean, we've had
worthless.
certificates on this for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you can foreclose that, because you only have to wait, if the town gets a tax sale certificate, you have to wait 6 months before you can start foreclosure procedure, right? And on a property like this, where the banks abandon it, the heirs don't want,
Right.
there's nobody around to take it, and yet it continues to decay, that's a prime candidate for it. And then you get the property back, if the town owns it, you can do whatever you want, demolish the house, have an auction, sell the property at auction, that's normally what you do, the highest bidder. If you have odd lots that are undersized, the statute allows you to offer them to adjacent property owners first, because they're usually you don't want to sell a lot that's not big enough to build on, obviously.
Right.
So you offer it to, you gotta get a number put on it, but,
Right.
and that would just, I don't know how many of these you have, but maybe we ought to take a look at that, and like I said, the street property alone
Right.
would probably merit filing.
What about this one I just finished? How about condemning it?
You can condemn it, because you've got the ordinance that says that you can do that, but you don't have it, and then you can probably take it down.
Right.
But,
Condemn it, deny it.
so then you got a lien on the property, I mean,
About the oil tank.
Yeah, there's an oil tank in the ground.
In the ground?
I
Yeah,
believe so, yeah.
it's my backyard.
Next to a creek.
yeah, we want to check that one out. But if we foreclose on it, we don't necessarily take the obligations to do cleanups if the municipality takes them. So there's an excuse to private property, you wouldn't want to do it, but, maybe we should check that out. But if we're going to condemn it, they're going to go through the time and expense of doing that, you might as well
Foreclose it.
foreclose it.
Right, right.
Because, again, I don't think anybody's going to come out of the woodwork and redeem it, because the bank said we gave up on it. And it does have some
Right.
value, that lot, so.
Yeah, we're not growing any more land, so
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to authorize Mike to see what we can do to condemn it and get rid of it.
No.
No,
Foreclose.
foreclose it.
Foreclose,
not
Yes,
condemn it.
and then we'll,
Maybe what I could do is, maybe Kathleen, you and I can work together to just see if you've got some other candidates, and then, because like I said, if you're going to file it, we all file it in one action, so the cost is really the title work, because sometimes if you have 15 properties, you might get one problem, where they say, hey, it's going to cost $5,000 to do the title search and do it right. The thing is, a lot of people in towns will go, well, forget it then, we're not going to do that, but the problem doesn't go away. So as long as there's volume there, like we can get 10 or 15 solid ones that you can get back on the tax rolls, so,
I'll find out.
all right,
Okay.
that makes some sense.
so my motion is what you
Okay,
just
so you need
said.
to get together with Kathleen and determine what would be, if there's enough there to make it worthwhile. I think the Mary Smith property definitely.
Right.
So, and then we can report back to the next meeting, these are the candidates, these are the
Yes.
best properties that we would recommend.
That's my motion.
So there's a motion on the floor. Second, anybody going to make a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, you got a second? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yeah.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
That property has been abandoned for so long, been through so many different town council, we have to take action on that. It's not fair to the residents that live there or the rest of the town. The last thing I have is the Greenwich Township School District Feasibility Study presentation. That's coming up on Monday, March 6th, 2017, 7 p.m. at our elementary school. And you have to sign up, and you have to register in order to get a seat. So I'm going to have Kim post this on the front door.
This is the feasibility to merge
To merge the
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury.
Okay.
And then there's one in Bloomsbury on the 23rd of March, 7 p.m. at their school.
Hey, Bill, are you intend on going?
Yes, so, Mike, I hope to have a majority of us
Yeah, we
that
might
are
be a
sitting up
quorum there, what do we
here
gotta do?
be at that meeting, so,
Notice it, because if just say that the committee's gonna be meeting jointly with...
Because I intend to go.
this
When
is
in doubt, you
When
just
is it?
notice it. 'cause
March
you're-
6th?
March 6th, it's a Monday
It's a
night.
Monday night.
Yeah, it's gonna be...
As well as the
Say,
27th.
don't you have an open
I
space
might go to
meeting, we
one
just
of
talk about
Bloomsbury.
that?
No, March 6th.
Okay.
So something that,
What time
this is
11
quite
o'clock.
large for this town. Anytime you try to merge a school district, it's very rarely done in this state. There was, I think, one only in the last probably 20 years, and that was in Huntington County. I think West Danville and Lambertville.
You going that night?
So,
I can or I can't. I have mixed feelings on the subject matter. I think you all could do a pretty good job of filling me in on the highlights.
Well, my question is, one of my questions would be, did they look into the COA that's gonna be built as part of their estimates?
If we advertise only
I don't know, I don't, I
No harm, no
doubt
foul?
if I was Bloomsbury,
Okay.
I'll advertise.
knowing that the code that
Okay.
could be coming to this town, I'd run it. Because they're gonna be funding the COA students.
But no action's gonna be taken on that one, no action will be taken.
The problem is if there's a quorum there and somebody makes a
Yeah,
statement...
but I'm just saying, if we put in
No action. yeah.
well, if only two of us show up, it's not a quorum, but,
Right.
Yeah.
but
there's a
we're better off, no
possibility.
harm, no foul the other way, right?
Which
So
school's
that-
which school's it at?
Please register
One of
online
them.
so
I have a
they
feeling
know
they
you're
didn't look
coming.
at the COA numbers when they made these estimates.
Did you get any answer from your text message from Maria earlier?
I sent the email to Maria.
There were several of our town residents who went to the Bloomsbury Board of Education meeting last night, and they were not very friendly in passing out that 300-page report. It's not available electronically or in print to anybody at this time, and I think it's going to need to be.
Well, I'm wondering if they're gonna do the rollout on the 6th, that's what it is.
Well, I'm under a couple of the residents felt that there was a lot of information that wasn't going to be brought forth in these meetings, and that somebody needs to really look at that report in depth.
And Bill, how was the final decision? Is that a townwide vote, or is
That's a
that...
vote, both districts have to vote.
Okay.
And that's my
The
own
residents are
concern.
voting on this?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the entire resident. And my thing is, I don't want to see a special election, and Kim tried to get a hold of Pat Cole to see if they can have it at the June primary, but that's probably not a good time to do it, because you're voting on two different ballots. So, Mike, do you have any experience with this?
My hunch is that you're not gonna be able to do it then, but I don't know because it's a school, if there's something else, but I agree with Kim, I think it's November, but I could be wrong. That's my hunch.
It should be November, but historically, and I'm not blaming this school district, they look to get the smallest turnout. Which unfortunately, I'll do my hardest to fight, to make sure that it's a November election, because something this critical for both towns should be made available. What was that? We have no control. No.
The only control you have is to get the word out to the residents to make sure they go vote.
So,
Put it on the town website, and
yeah, Kim, can you put this on the town website?
Yes.
Okay, and then, so do we need a motion, or what do we need for
Just an advertisement.
letting them know that there could be a quorum at that meeting?
She's gonna do an advertisement that there's gonna...
Yeah, don't advertise it just like a regular
Meeting.
meeting, but give that location.
And we're gonna put no action will be taken. No action will be taken.
Yeah, no action.
And then what about the one in Bloomsbury? 'Cause I would like to also attend that one to see,
I was only gonna go to one, but I assume it's gonna be redundant, right?
who knows?
would it be possible to recognize Brad as an ex-Board of Ed member, like he has something he wants to share with us?
Well, then, there's no motion on the floor, right? Then I'll make a motion to go to public comment.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can come up forward here and we can,
On special election dates of the school, the way I remember it is, they're given, I think it's set by the state, there's certain dates that they can have a special election. There's like 3 or 4 months, dates within a year they can do it, so they can't deviate from those. Other than the general election day, there's 3 or 4 dates, so they can easily find out from Maria or the several dates they have. But it may not be the primary date, so.
No, I don't think it would, I've never seen a school issue.
Brad, as a knowledgeable ex-Board of Ed member, do you have an opinion on this merger?
I need to see the information.
Okay.
I was on the board when we authorized the study. That was on May 1st. It was in April, and we met with the feasibility study committee met on May 1st. We were promised to report August 1st, but people changed it. It's 5 months ago. And I left the board since then, so I'm completely out of the loop. So I know about as much as you guys as far as what's being studied. I have no opinion of what's being did. Yes or no?
I guess we need a motion to close. I'll make that motion to close public comment.
Second.
Aye. That's all I have. Oh, thanks, Paul.
I need a motion, or I'll make a motion to accept the municipal court monthly report with the side note of getting a larger font for the report next time.
No, second. We made the motion.
Roll call.
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Parsons?
Yes.
And let's see, I need a motion to accept a new junior member onto the rescue squad, Jack Pike.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Parsons?
Yes. Engineer report.
And actually, Mike, can I just, real briefly, this is engineering,
I'm
but
sorry, I
it's...
didn't realize you were...
No, I wasn't sure where it should come in. We had a resident, that borders the park be concerned about water runoff,
Which part?
Thomas Stewart.
Oh, the new, okay, I didn't know if it was in...
No, Thomas Stewart.
The new,
And you didn't really change the topography out there at all, right? I mean,
when the farm resident, I assume?
well, actually, no, it's a South Main Street resident,
Oh, okay, so,
Adjacent property.
adjacent property owner on the back side of the park.
On the backside.
oh, so she owns property that butts to the rear?
Right, yes.
Okay, fine, I got it.
And there was some concerns about water runoff, right?
Okay.
This individual who I know who he's referring to, I'd be happy to speak with him, the president called me, actually, and there will be a reduction in runoff. That will be improved.
We just need to get you to communicate with him, right?
There's no change
That's it?
to the
Okay.
drainage patterns,
Nope.
and by
That's
virtue
it.
of the turf and...
One phone call and that can be explained, so we're good, all right.
Yep, absolutely.
You're up.
Oh, that's right. All right.
That's why you did it. You-
Could've moved on.
All right, I sent my report a few days ago, a lot of update items and so forth, repeat items. But the OU2 project, the groundwater contamination project, we did send out a review letter to the EPA at the end of, or the beginning of January, or the middle of January, excuse me. Their schedule is anybody's guess. We also are in the process of putting together a reimbursement request to send to the EPA for the township to be reimbursed on your professional expenses, which is basically our bills to do the review work and write the reports, which, in all honesty, at this point in the game, it's not that much. But that's underway, and of course, I think it's like $1,500. So, we're proceeding with that. Okay, the emergency generator grant was spoken about, it's moving along pretty well, and Joe can really speak to that more than me. I guess the park we talked about, okay, for now. Last item. No, another one. the DOT 2017 DOT State Aid Grant Program. If you recall, we submitted for two applicants, Dumont Road Section 2, the remainder of Dumont, which didn't get paved last year, 2 years ago now, and Washington Street, Stewartsville Road. And Franklin is has applied for their section of Stewartsville Road. So, makes for potentially, both towns get that particular road to be a nice improvement, nice project. I don't know of the timing of when they are scheduled to make announcements. It's usually 3 or 4 months. They're all out of whack because of the trust fund being shut down. So I think the earliest we would hear is probably May, and we'll see. Okay, this is not my report, but I was going to mention, Mike, and I'll ask to look at you, my meeting with the Norfolk Southern.
Sure.
No, okay. This was spoken about. A gentleman, and Mr. Lavery wrote a letter. I went out, took some pictures. Actually, Mr. Reworks, who's in the audience, I met with him. The fellow shows up here, talking to Kim. Kim called me, thinking that obviously I could maybe be helpful, being that I was out there and saw everything and took the photos and so forth. So the fellow came to my office 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, whatever it was. But the most interesting part of the meeting was the fact that every one of those cars is basically renting space from Norfolk Southern, and that's how they remain on the tracks. He says they have police. They don't hesitate to call any complaints. Please let me know. He gave his card, his phone number, the whole thing. He basically said, instead of you guys hearing it from the public, tell the public to call me, call us. We will come out and we will try to address the comment. He was very nice. Very helpful, but we're not going to get a lot of help. Those cars aren't going anywhere in the near future. That's the unfortunate reality. That's what I got out of it. So,
Something in Peterson's office for you.
oh yeah, that's right, Jeannie.
Yeah, they called you for that purpose.
Oh.
They're going after them.
Well, I was going to say, can we reach out to Senator Dougherty and John DeMayo also?
I spoke to we happened to be in his office today, and I spoke to them about this issue because after Mike's meeting, or something, when I had my surgery, when that guy showed up here, their attorney, John Fiorillo, called me, who's the one that we've been corresponding with, and basically, in a nice way, said they basically want to remove the car. So we're researching now. I mean, we have limited control locally but there's always a soft spot that we can attack. And then,
Well, I think if you get down and take a couple of pictures of the nice countryside and the beautiful green of Greenwich, and all of a sudden you see hundreds of graffiti-filled train cars that are marring the countryside, the landscape, maybe somebody will find a soft spot to do something.
And I think, in speaking with Senator Dougherty's office today, they said, I'm going to send them the letters that we've sent, on behalf of Greenwich, and they had, I guess the mayor of Bloomsbury called them as well, because we've been CCing the mayor on our correspondence, and then they were going to send that down to Congressman Lance's office to apply some federal pressure, because my understanding is they're getting rent from those cars sitting on the track, so they don't have any...
Yes.
But like I said, they were very polite to me, but
No.
it doesn't matter whether you're nasty or polite,
Right.
you're saying they're not going to do anything for us.
I think you have to look at, in my understanding, Norfolk Southern does not own that line. That's the New Jersey Transit line. That used to be the old Conrail line, Central Railroad of New Jersey. So I believe New Jersey Transit. So because maybe it's a state-owned line, there might be some, thing that maybe the senators or someone that can do it.
Yeah, so it is on the senator's radar screen.
Okay.
So, and then, like I said, they're going to try to get Congressman involved too, so we'll keep you posted.
Is that your last item, man?
Well, I got one item.
I got something too.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I go first.
Item 10. What are we doing with RF? Did I interrupt you?
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Come on,
No, go.
I'm losing control here. You go. Number 10, the old school.
That's where I was gonna go.
RF,
That's where I
What are we?
In my report.
in your report?
Oh, okay, number 10. Let's see what it is. I don't have the numbers okay, the school.
RFQ, where are we?
RFQ.
Did it ever go out?
Well, yes and no, and more no, Bill. And, you know, I'll...
Can we put it out?
Yeah, of course we can.
Can we get it out, like...
I think I actually owe, you guys a little apology. Remember about 3-4 months ago, we talked about this, and I said there was a little snafu with somebody in our office who had sent the RFQ to paper, and it didn't get sent to the right person, and I thought it had been advertised with that, and I said, I'll fix it, and we'll get it out the next month. Well, it fell between the cracks and it didn't.
Okay.
But
That was actually supposed to be sent out last year.
What's that?
That was supposed to be sent out last year.
Well,
That's
Well, it's only
March.
February now.
You mean 2016?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We talked
Yeah.
about it.
Right, we
Well,
talked about it in
Mike,
2016.
realistically on this, on that, because I know we've been talking about that school for probably as long as I've lived here.
Oh,
And there's been a million things running around about what to do with it. Realistically, are we gonna get anybody interested in that, you think? It doesn't sound to me like, realistically, is there any interest in it? The reason I'm bringing that up is, did we ever get an estimate for demolition?
If we did, Frank, I forget. And I, yeah, and we might have gotten a seat at the demolition. Yeah, you will.
The only thing I got last year when I was looking into it and talking to a bunch of contractors, I talked to actually 4 or 5 people that were really interested in the school. But unless you gave it to them for $1 to have them redo everything, with the cost of installing an elevator in the building and putting in the septic system out there because there's no sewer line, the project's not worth doing.
And then the other question is, what's acceptable to have there?
Well, between senior housing and you're gonna have parking.
That's
and-
if senior, if that, then maybe somebody else wants to put something in there that's
Well, the people
not desirable.
People I talked to are looking at senior housing for the 4 apartments or 5 apartments up top. But again, once you put the elevator in, once you do the septic, now you have to make sure you have the parking. You can't park at the top of the septic system in the backyard. It wasn't feasible unless you give it to them for $1.
No, actually, we had gotten a special consideration and approval on the septic. So the septic can go in the backyard and it can be paved.
Right, you use a pressurized system inside
So,
there. But it's also double the cost.
it's not as, it doesn't curtail the use of the building as much as you might think, but it certainly limits it.
But it's very expensive to install.
Plus the asbestos and whatever else is in there.
I was just wondering if that's something we need to consider.
It's even worse, somebody began the building to do it then.
The idea
It's
of
gonna cost
RFQ
over $1
is
million.
that you were basically
Like turning it down.
having people come here to
One guy
give
was
you
gonna give the
ideas
building
of what they
basement.
thought.
Right.
Like, we
Yeah,
weren't,
that's what-
we weren't putting this out and saying, okay, we want this to be 8 senior units, and you put it up an elevator and give us a number to convert the building. This says, look at the building, what do you foresee the best utility of this building, and make their pitch to you guys to sell you on their idea.
Let me ask you this, Mike, would it be prudent for us to do an RFQ for demolition? Because in the end, we're going to have to present this to people and say, do you want to put, we may have to put money into this to get rid of it and redo it,
Demo it, get it right.
or demo it, and at least give people an answer of what they're up against, whether,
Well,
choose their poison, pay to have it redone or pay to destroy it. But
to put together a proposal for demos, simple, quick thing. I mean, I would say, we forge ahead as we should have been by now, and we evaluate what we get, and maybe then we say, you know what, let's see what it's going to cost to get rid of this building, and just see.
I mean, I think the residents in here would probably rather it be a nice little park with a parking lot for a little monument. Would you rather it be a affordable housing unit, or would you rather it to be a park? Affordable housing?
How much left is
Huh?
How much
We're building affordable housing, that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. It's not gonna affect the
I don't know,
total.
right down Main Street, and it'd be just a big open hole. And what kind of, it's not that big. We don't
But,
really-
well, I guess the question is, at what cost are people willing to,
Well, it depends if we put the RFQ out, see if
well, I'm not saying not to do that RFQ, but I think
I don't know, if I lived there, I'd like it to be a part
I
of
think it's a
that.
number,
That's
I think
me.
it's a number you're gonna have to get both sides of, to be fair to the public. Not that I'm gonna go referendum, but at least people can come in, and if they say they wanna see it renovated, be able to say to them, are you committed to X amount of dollars of township funds going into that, if it requires it?
What?
You know,
Well, I think
that's
the
right.
idea is but we don't want to spend
A dime.
a dime. We
Well,
want
that's my
somebody to come
point.
in knowing.
But it doesn't
maybe-
sound like we're
maybe
gonna
we
have-
sell them the building for $1. Maybe we do that. But then, all the expense, whatever they got to do is not.
Yeah,
all
it sounds like-
It's theirs.
Give them a time.
Sounds like there's an awful lot of rent to make that back up.
There definitely is.
These are big contractors, too, that just walk away from
The
it.
state code, the CTS system, we put a lot of money aside for renovation,
Mm-hmm.
that out of our co-funds.
Well, if it's co-use, that's perfectly acceptable.
That's how we did our monitoring report. There's a certain amount put aside, then that's school,
I thought color, I have sewer.
that's color. We don't-
So, Mike, when do you think,
Just gotta meet the
We can only
code.
use color funds for-
Well, we're doing the RFQ, you're gonna get that done.
when is that gonna go out? When can you,
It can go on next week.
And then we're waiting to see what happens, then we can bring up the, they gotta figure out what the cost either way is gonna be.
90% rated.
Because one way or the other, people are gonna show up and they say they want that school, and then the question is, at what cost do you want that school? Or they're making a lot of people come in, because I remember one time I was here, one guy said the bricks are worth more if you knocked it down and sold the bricks.
that's the other thing, recycle, I'm sure you can recycle.
What's the wording of that, what's the wording of that? Like, what does it say? Does it say,
This is what's in there.
yeah. I mean, what are we asking them to do? To offer up a solution to renovating the building at their own cost? I mean, what are we actually asking for?
If we sell it, you gotta do that.
And I don't wanna put us in a position where we gotta accept any use that somebody puts in front
No,
of
that
us.
was all
Want me to read-
discussed.
want me to read?
Yeah.
We'll discuss.
Right
Yeah,
out-
go ahead.
right out,
Yeah.
Again, our draft. The township, and there's a bunch of other stuff before this, talking about the property, whatever, okay. The township is interested in selling the property at fair market value for redevelopment that will make a positive contribution to the community, and that is not only comparable with, but also will strengthen and enhance the quality of the surrounding properties. Township is requesting all qualification statements include the reuse, rehab of the building's envelope, and that the existing exterior architecture be maintained. All prospective respondents are to walk through, and then it talks about what we're asking for as far as the submission requirements. Narrative, sketches, design plans, income and expense pro formas,
You said market value.
yeah, so, I mean, that's...
Market value, maybe a buck, like-
I think so. I mean, it's-
All right,
Well,
Did you have your assessor look at it and analyze it?
Mike,
I don't think so.
what ability do we have, like, are we gonna, if somebody came in with an offer, can we turn down any offer? Do we need any specific reason?
That doesn't mandate us to sell it.
You know, so you can turn them down for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even on a bid, as long as you put in there that you reserve the right to reject all bids.
Well, this is an RFQ. This
No,
is
that's what I'm saying.
right,
I'm
this is
saying,
even easier.
even
Right.
if, yeah, even if it wasn't, so anything that you get in, you can say, we don't like that, we don't think it's good for the town.
Well,
Okay.
We're gonna go through with the RFQ, we'll advertise, see what interest we get, which doesn't sound like what you're saying it's gonna be good, but, and then we'll have to cross the roads when we get there, I guess, right?
So, Mike, next week, when you officially send it out, just let us all know that you sent it out.
I'd be very pleased to do that, yes.
You're done, Mike?
Well, I think on that.
Okay.
You guys came up with some extra items, so yeah.
No, it's on there, it's not an extra.
But, well, you don't want me to go through everybody's...
No.
Let's go.
We're gonna need a motion to go into executive session. Oh, I'm sorry.
There's one thing that, Attorney Lavery recently,
Oh, that's right, there's in here.
EPA, oh, yeah.
it's,
What tab is that? I read it since you
It's
me.
tab, 2, 3.
In tab 3?
Yeah.
Oh, this is, okay, this is what you,
Yeah, Councilman sent this down from one.
2 or 3?
I, came right from the paper saying it.
Yeah, it's got this.
Tab 2, you said?
Tab 3.
so we want to do a
Oh,
first
okay,
reading
first
on this
reading.
thing? Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, or you can review it and do it next month.
The next one.
Okay.
Table it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, get over it.
has everybody got a chance to
Yeah,
review it?
Yeah,
That's fine.
The upshot is, we have a QPA, then instead of the bid threshold being 75, it's 25,000,
Yeah.
right? 40,000.
Yeah, 40, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's
so
so-
we'll go out to bid for things.
Right,
yeah.
Oh, and then maybe somebody agrees to say, no, we want to do it. So that's what the, is what you should think about between now and the next week.
I thought we talked about this, that we wanted to do it.
We did.
And we said to have it for next week.
Yeah, why we table
all right,
it?
I'm okay with
Yeah,
it.
I'm good with
I'm
it,
fine
we
with it.
talked about it. So,
who's making-
I have to read the whole thing?
No.
You just have to introduce.
See, when you do it by title, all you do is read the title when you have the ordinance in front of you. I know there's confusion in the past. But people-
So we're looking for a motion for ordinance number 2017-01, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Greenwich, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, creating the position of purchasing agent and establishing Chapter 44, Article 10, Sections 46 to 52.
Make a motion.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Hannah?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Marqueta?
Yes.
Marson?
Yes.
Kim, do we need to take any action on that letter that lady wanted to come in and take pictures inside the school? I know Mike sent a
Mike was gonna look
response
into it.
saying that we should get authorization from our insurance company.
Yeah, because if you ask me, I gotta
Right, you gotta.
do my job and
Right.
say, you're not gonna let somebody in a building that's closed. But
Right.
I guess if somebody wanted to...
Yeah, she was somebody who's got memories and was a resident here and... Yeah, she said she wasn't a pro, but she does old buildings.
They're useless.
My comment was, if she's got fond memories, she shouldn't go in there now.
If our risk manager said,
Oh, yeah.
they would be covered under our policy if somebody accompanied them or whatever, and the committee wanted to do that, then that's fine, but I would run it by them first. I suspect that the answer is going to be no, but for the recommendation.
All right, so we're leaving it up to Mike to let us know.
Kim, you'll call the insurance company?
Okay.
Take some pictures.
Okay.
And if he says, okay, then,
If he says, okay, we are covered,
yes, I'll get it in writing.
yeah.
Right.
Then,
She should be
I mean, it'd
escorted
be
by,
nice to have around to do it, but
Joe
somebody
Mexico.
has to, yeah, somebody's got a company or...
you know,
you take her up, or Joe?
And I'll have my hazmat suit.
Yeah,
they have to
exactly.
wear a mask.
Yeah.
They have to wear a mask.
Okay.
What-
Good.
There's asbestos in there, right?
There's asbestos in mold.
That's why I said, that's why I said that.
I got two attorneys.
Mike was really wishing he didn't hear that.
No seems like a very easy
I said
All right. No sounds like an easy answer.
Kim, then why
Run
don't,
it by the risk manager.
Our record shouldn't even be in
all
there.
right, then why don't you just say because of the condition of the mold and asbestos at this time,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay, I'll tell them that.
Shouldn't the mold and the asbestos in that building, why are we keeping our public records in there? Because then the records are going to be contaminated with the
Yeah.
mold also.
Oh, yeah. Look, so they're digging through boxes and all.
Yeah,
Anybody
that's a
ever
good
think
point.
about that?
That's a good point.
I think so. Have them last.
Well, we're gonna get the library, right? We're gonna get...
How are you going to transport, how are you going to transport boxes that are covered in mold that are public records into a brand new storage facility that we're going to build out back
Well, we
here?
won't even get the fact that the statute requires it, because we kept it municipal.
Oh. All right.
That's for further discussion.
Okay, we ready to go?
Yep.
We need a motion to go into executive...
Wait.
Oh, no, we're going to do it after executive.
Oh.
That's the
Do you
thing.
need me in executive?
No, we don't need you
Okay.
for executive. I don't want to give you a blanket, we don't need you. We just don't need you for...
Motion to go into executive session?
Okay. Make a motion to go into executive session, to discuss contract negotiations regarding the American Legion, the township engineer, personnel matter, township clerk, and do we have any...
Litigation? Oh, no, we did that already.
Yeah.
No, we did that.
And-
Oh, that one?
And litigation, right? Okay, insurance/litigation.
I'll make that motion.
It could be lengthy, so I don't know if anybody wants to wait around for the end or not, so. Thanks for coming again, though, Lydia. Have a good night. So do I have that motion for executive?
Make a motion.
Second. Anybody have a second?
Second it.
Okay, roll call. Or no, all in favor?
Aye.
A 5-minute tea break.
Yep.
Oh, yes, sir.
I don't pay bills.
Forgot about that. That would have been a big announcement.
Okay, motion to come out of executive session?
No, I'll make that motion.
Second? I'll second it.
Aye.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We made for executive session at 11:03 PM where we discussed, 3 matters. One was the American Legion, that was a contractual matter. Second was the Township engineer, contractual matter. And third was personnel matter dealing with the clerk. No official action was taken. These minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public interest.
We did have a discussion with the insurance attorney as well.
Oh, that's right. We had a discussion with the insurance attorney regarding pending litigation, which was the PAYGO matter.
You got a motion?
I'm going to make a motion to pay the bills that are listed in the packet.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Parsons?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion that the attorney take the action that we discussed in executive session. That's it. That's my motion.
Second it.
Who seconded?
Either one. It's fine.
Discussion? Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Parsons?
Yes. You have a motion?
And I have a motion to Rice notice Kathleen, CFO.
Second.
Roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yes.
Parsons?
Yes. I need a motion to authorize me to send the letter to the Warren County freeholders regarding questions on traffic signage on
Real.
Greenwood Street, Route 638.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Anybody else? Second? Well, second. Discussion? All in, roll call?
Kenya?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes.
Spencer?
Yeah.
Parsons?
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Too long.
What time's it play? Oh, not until tomorrow night, 6:50. I knew this would go through tonight.
The flights out of Allentown, I wish they were,